Welcome to a quick overview on how the new Mirrors ranking system works. So you have this new Mirrors ranking version right here, where once you go to it for the very first time, you'll be prompted to make a defense team. You can also set that defense team by using this blue button on the very bottom left right here. And the defense team is basically the team that other people will see when they look at your team. So on this overview where you fight other people, you have some teams on the right, and these are other people's defense teams. And if I were to fight one of these teams, I would have to defeat that team in order to increase my ranking. So you want to make sure that your defense team is a team that works really well when other people are fighting against it. So usually you would put people on this team that make sure that they survive 1 or 2 turns while also being able to kill the enemy on their turn. For example, I have something like Dark Mitama, I have Akuma Homura-chan. They can survive enemies and then do a lot of disruptive stuff to them. My Anime Yachio and my Doppel Kyoko destroy them on their turn. And then I have a filler role because I don't have another 5th character that fits into this. So this is usually what you would do for your defense team. Now, when you actually want to fight enemies yourself, you will need to use your offensive team. Now I'm gonna do something very quick. Okay, so let's say for example that I want to fight against this team up here, okay? So I click against this team and I say I want to fight against this. And this is the team of another player. I'm fighting against another player's defense team now. And now that I'm in this menu, the game is telling me to build an offensive team. So this is how you build your offensive team. You first have to actually select an opponent. And now that I've selected this opponent, I've been given 5 minutes to create the best offensive team that I can against this enemy. Now I've already made an offensive team, and if you already made one, you will just get the same one all the time. And this is the one that I came up with, just a team that does a lot of pressure on the enemy on turn 1, then usually survives the enemy turn 1, and then on my turn 2 completely destroys the enemy. So Anime Yachio and Dakanagi, they're rather tanky, very deceptively tanky with their actives, and then on turn 2, either if Doppel Kyoko is alive, she Magias, kills the entire enemy, nice, and then the other 2, they blast and stuff. So now that I have my offensive team, I'm going to attack this enemy defense team with my offensive team. And the funny part is that all of this is auto battle, which means that yes, auto battle sometimes screws you over. Sometimes auto battle does some crazy stuff that you cannot anticipate, and because of that, sometimes you will just lose due to the whims of auto battle, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's just part of the game. You just have to accept that auto battle is a thing that will make you lose a bunch of times, okay? Sometimes you do stuff like, oh, you have a blaster team, how about an Excel charge combo against the enemy tank, which I've had happen before, which is very fun and makes you lose sometimes. So now right here, my team, however, is doing pretty well on auto battle and has defeated the enemy team. So now that I have defeated the enemy team, something interesting happens. So this enemy that I just fought had a higher rank than me. And now that I've beaten them, I've taken their rank, I've stolen their rank, and this is now my rank. I was rank 100 and something, now I'm rank 94. This is now my rank. Okay, and this is how ranking up in this system works. Now I'm rank 94, and this enemy over here, if you look at this left number, is rank 82. This means that if I beat this opponent, I now get rank 82 once I beat this opponent. Sadly, I can't fight immediately again, because there's a cooldown. This is this number down here, this timer. Every time you start a fight, and this is when you start a fight, I think, is a timer of about either 3 minutes or 2 minutes 30 seconds that starts, and you're not allowed to fight again until that timer is done. And you see, I still have a bunch of 1 minute and 20 seconds on that timer, and I'll just have to wait until I can fight again. There's also the second timer up here. Now the way this the ranking in this system works is, even though I've just beaten this guy's rank hasn't actually updated yet. Like, he has lost rank because I beat him. If someone loses on defense, they lose rank. But this hasn't updated yet. This up here, this timer is when the actual ranks actually update. Now if you, for example, if you get beaten on your defense team, like for example, if my team right here, someone else beats this team on defense, then as soon as this timer up here finishes, I might find out that I'm losing rank. And you know, that just happens. You might sometimes just lose rank. Now, I said in my original video that I made about this is that when your defense team loses, you lose 1 rank. That's not true. whoever beats you takes your rank and you get their rank. So I was rank 100 and something and I beat a rank 94. Now that guy is a rank 100 and something. We swapped ranks between us, okay? This means that you can fall pretty quickly if you're unlucky, okay? Keep that in mind. So we're gonna wait for this timer down here to go and finish, and then we'll see, oh, did we lose on defense? Did someone kill our team on defense, or are we still rank 94? And we will see that we are still rank 94. Nice. So now I look at my opponents and my cooldown timer has disappeared, and I can select another opponent again. And you have this button right here. It's behind my webcam. If I move it, you'll see that there's this button that allows you to re-roll your opponents. And this is basically the same reroll button that you might know from your ranked mirrors, where you can just reroll opponents, just that it takes no resources. You can just do it all the time as much as you want. The only difference being that you have this timer over here that ticks down. This 2-minute timer before everything gets recalculated and all your opponents get mashed up again. Okay, but within that 2-minute time window, you can reroll as much as you want. Now I might look around and try and find more opponents that I think I can beat very easily, or that give me the most amount of rank. And if you want to rise in ranks quickly, the thing that you need to note is that these enemies on the right side are actually ordered. The top opponent is always the opponent with the highest rank, with the best rank rather. So if I want to rise as fast as possible, I would only ever target the top opponent. The opponent number 2 and 3 are always of lesser ranks. I'd never want to roll that, because for example right now I'm rank 95, this guy down here is rank 93. I would only get 1 rank if I defeated that opponent. Not good enough. This up here, rank 82 if I defeated that guy. Now when you rise in your ranks, you actually get rewards based on the best possible rank that you've ever gotten. And you can see that you actually gain, there's a lot of different Magia Stones that you can get, especially once you get towards the higher ranks. You get a lot of Magia Stones. Between 1 and 10, you get 6 Magia Stones for every single rank, meaning from 10 to 1 is 60 Magia Stones, which is quite a lot. And you can only get these rewards once, so once you've reached rank 1, like I did at some point in the past, I've shown it in my original video, then you cannot gain any more Magia Stones from this, and you can just retire and say, okay, I don't need to worry about getting a high rank anymore. On top of that, you also gain more bonuses based on how well you do each day. So at the end of every day, you gain these ranking medals that you can use in the shop. Now the shop only has like one important item in it, which I think is tickets. And these tickets only cost a handful of medals, so it's actually extremely easy if you just play the event normally without doing anything special to just get all those tickets, and then the rest doesn't matter. So you might think like, oh, I really need to get a high ranking to get as many medals as possible. No, you don't. You really don't need these medals. They're completely pointless for the most part. And you get these every day, depending on how well you've done for that day. There are also rewards at the very end of the entire season, which is basically the exact same as your normal mirror ranking rewards, where you get a special cool emblem that you can put on your profile, and you get some Mitama medals that, once you've gotten the good memorias in the Mitama medal shop, are also kind of pointless. So overall, it doesn't really matter how well you place in this. The only thing that's really important is that at some point you get a high rank, like at least rank 100, and if you have a pretty good offense team, even rank 1 to 10. Now that we've talked about actually rising through the ranks like that, there is something that kind of limits you in how much you can actually fight. Now I mentioned the cooldown, but also you only get 5 fights a day. So every day when you log in, you get 5 battles that you can do, and once those 5 battles are over, you cannot do any more battles. That is, unless you pay 5 Magia Stones. For 5 Magia Stones, you get to do 5 more battles, which sounds like a pretty big Magia Stone sink. But the thing is, I was rank 1 before, which gave me in total from rank 20,001, I gained about 327 Magia Stones, I think it is. And how often did I have to refresh? Like 6 times? 7 times? I think it took me about 35 Magia Stones, only for 35 Magia Stones to gain 327 Magia Stones. Now certainly I could have gotten most of those without paying, but even so, towards the top 10, you get so many Magia Stones that refreshing 5 battles for 6 stones each of these steps is you end up so much in the positive that you actually spend 5 stones to get like 50 stones. So it actually is still a positive thing to do at some point in the coming 2 weeks, to put yourself down, say for 1 hour, I'm just going to spam battles. If you have a good offense team, that is, you need to actually have a good offense team, to smash through as many battles as I can and get towards that top 1 to get all of these Magia stones. So that's basically the most important parts about this game mode. However, there's a little bit more to it, which is that something that people have been wondering about is that when the server first came up, every single player starts on rank 20,001. But if the only way to gain ranks is to beat someone of a higher rank than you, then who were the people between rank 1 and 20,000? Because there must have been people there, right? But they can't have been human players, because human players all started 20,001. And the answer is, of course, that they were server-generated teams. Bot teams, basically, as people have been calling them. They're server-generated teams with random characters that fit various templates and various themes that have populated rank 1 to 20,000. And by the time you are watching this video, these 20,000 bot accounts might already have been knocked out of the rankings by actual human players that have been climbing the ranks upwards. Because that's kind of the point, is that eventually all the 20,000 human players per group will defeat all of those bots and take their spot. Now, also one thing to note is that this ranking right here, when I say rank 1 to rank 20,001, those are not global. It's not a global rank. I think there's different groups. And I don't know if you can actually check what group you are in, but I think there's like many different chunks of 20,000 players that are all in their own group. So you might not even be able to see your friend if your friend is in a completely different group. But if your friend is in the same group, you might see a lot of them, which sometimes happens to me, where I keep seeing the exact same people pop up over and over and over, okay? That just keeps happening sometimes. Now, the higher you go though, especially towards the rank 1, you'll find some incredibly strong players with some really, really powerful teams, and especially then, you will probably want to have your best offense team that you can have. Now, when you usually log in every day and you come to this screen, your mirror screen, you will usually know that there's a window that pops up that tells you how many times you've won and lost on defense, right? And this window applies to this ranking mode. And you'll see, for example, that your defense team has been beaten like 6 times. Oh, but you won on defense with that team 5 times, okay? And every time your defense team wins, you gain 5 coins. You get 5 of those special ranking coins of this season that you also gain daily. These 5, you get 5 of these coins right here, 5 of these medals. So if you have a really strong defense team, that also means you get a lot of coins. So that's a really nice thing to watch out for. Now that's basically it for the most part. I probably already am running on the screen me actually gaining ranked 1, because I had some footage from when I first did this video where I was fighting some really powerful enemies and I gained rank 1 during it, just to show off that yes, it's possible. You can get a rank 1. And because there's many different groups and the only way to lose rank is to have someone else actively play against and beat you, it's actually surprisingly easy to get to really high ranks if you have a strong offense team, because it only takes like a handful of minutes to get all the way to the top. And if no one else fights against you in that time, you're not gonna lose any rank, right? Now, one thing to note is that I've mentioned this cooldown before, where you have to wait in between your battles, but you can also spend 5 Magia stones to skip that cooldown and just keep fighting really quickly. If you want to, you can throw a crap ton, hundreds of Magia stones at this game mode to immediately shoot yourself to number 1 without anyone being able to contest you in any way, which is not necessary. Like I said, I got there with only like 35 Magia stones just on the refreshers, but theoretically, if you want to, you could do that. Yeah, that's basically it for the most part. I will say, just as a quick recommendation for your offensive units, if you happen to have them at 4 slots, some really powerful units are the ones that I've showed off, which is Anime Yachio, which is Doppel Kyoko, which is the one I haven't shown up. It's Kimochi Rabi. Kimochi Rabi is also incredibly powerful on offense. Fairy Tail Yachio also really good. Darkness Kanagi also extremely powerful on offense. Other characters that are really powerful to watch out for, especially when they're on defense, is Darkness Kanagi. Darkness Kanagi is extremely powerful on defense. So is Akuma Homura-chan. A lot of characters that I have as well, like Akuma Homura-chan and Darkness Kanagi, also extremely powerful on defense. You need to be really careful about fighting them. But there's also Valentine Sudachi. Don't fight Valentine Sudachi. I cannot stress this enough. Do not fight Valentine Sudachi. She is incredibly powerful and will probably kill your team. And there's not much you can do about this, okay? Don't fight Valentine Sudachi. I mean it. Other strong characters are Mikoto, for example. And there's probably like Valentine's Nagisa might also be a strong character. There's also Vampire Kanagi that I've seen some people run, which is not as powerful anymore, but still a strong choice. These are kind of the characters that you want to watch out for, characters that are not killed very easily, but can kill you very easily as well once you let them live. And one final note is that every single one of these new ranked events will have special rule sets for every single one of these events, but rule sets is maybe it's maybe a strong word. They're more like enhancements to various characters. Like for example, for this event, every fire, forest, and aqua character will get 1500 HP attack and defense. And that's it. You just get more stats if you're using fire, aqua, or forest during this event. And other events like this will probably have similar bonuses to other elements, something like that, to just make sure that every single time this event runs, people use slightly different characters. But to be honest, even though 1500 sounds like a lot, the characters that I just mentioned that are strong are still gonna be strong, even if the rule set doesn't directly favor them. So keep all of that in mind. But yeah, that was basically that. Hope you guys enjoyed this here. Subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.